Did you know that only a few of Jesus' disciples are mentioned in detail in the New Testament after his resurrection? Have you ever wondered what happened to the rest of them? The story of Jesus' disciples doesn't end with the Gospels. Their journeys continued after the crucifixion, spreading Jesus' message and influencing countless lives. What drove these individuals to go to such great lengths, often at great personal cost? It's a question that not only invites curiosity, but opens a window into the determination and conviction of early Christians. Let's explore the fascinating paths these figures took and the ways their lives shaped the foundation of Christianity as we know it. In this deep dive, we'll trace the fates of Jesus' 12 disciples after his departure. We often hear about Peter and John, the well-known figures who played prominent roles in the early church. But there were 12 men, each with his own calling and mission, who contributed uniquely to the spread of Christianity. Their journeys took them to all corners of the known world, from Europe to Asia and Africa. Facing hardship and persecution, these men inspired countless followers, setting a foundation that would eventually grow into a global faith. Many disciples, such as Peter and John, are mentioned frequently in the New Testament. But what about the others? What happened to them after they left Jerusalem? To answer this, we'll explore not only their missions and martyrdoms, but also the cultural and historical significance of their contributions to the early Christian movement. The Gospel accounts give us only glimpses, so we turn to early Christian writings, historical documents, and church traditions to piece together the disciples' later lives. Let's uncover these fascinating stories. Despite their monumental influence, the lives of the disciples after Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection remain somewhat obscure. Early church documents and apocryphal texts contain stories of their journeys, but these accounts vary and often conflict. Why is there so little solid information? It's likely because early Christians prioritized spreading Jesus' teachings over documenting every detail of the disciples' lives. The Acts of the Apostles in the New Testament provide some insight, but even there, only a few disciples are discussed in detail, leaving many stories unrecorded in canonical scripture. The challenge lies in bridging these gaps to understand what happened to these men who devoted their lives to Jesus. Various accounts suggest that some disciples traveled far from their homeland, others founded Christian communities, while others faced martyrdom for their faith. But even with limited information, each story contributes something invaluable to our understanding of the dedication and courage these disciples showed. By piecing together these stories, we can glimpse the full picture of how Christianity spread and how the disciples helped lay the groundwork for what would eventually become a global movement. Peter, often remembered as the rock upon which Jesus said he would build his church, emerged as a central leader in the early Christian community. He was instrumental in spreading the gospel, starting from Jerusalem and eventually traveling as far as Rome. Tradition holds that Peter was martyred in Rome under Emperor Nero's persecution, crucified upside down because he felt unworthy to die in the same manner as Jesus. His role as a leader and martyr made him a revered figure in early Christianity, and his legacy endures in the Catholic tradition, where he is considered the first pope. Andrew, Peter's brother, is believed to have ventured farther than many other disciples. After Jesus' departure, Andrew reportedly traveled through Asia Minor, eventually reaching Greece. There, he is said to have continued preaching and converting people to Christianity. According to tradition, Andrew was crucified on an X-shaped cross, which is known today as St. Andrew's Cross. His symbol, this X-shaped cross, remains prominent in Christian iconography and is notably present on the national flag of Scotland, where he is venerated as a patron saint. James, son of Zebedee James, also called James the Greater, was the first disciple to be martyred. The Acts of the Apostles recount that he was executed by King Herod Agrippa around 44 AD, making him the first of Jesus' original followers to give his life for the faith. James's death marks a critical moment in early Christianity, as it demonstrated the risks the disciples faced in spreading their message. His legacy is particularly celebrated in Spain, where he is traditionally believed to have preached before his martyrdom, becoming the inspiration for the famous pilgrimage route, the Camino de Santiago. John, the beloved disciple, holds a special place in Christian history as the only disciple believed to have lived a long life and to have died a natural death. He was reportedly exiled to the island of Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelation. Additionally, John is credited with writing the Gospel of John and 3 epistles, all of which carry profound theological insights into Jesus' teachings and the nature of God. John's influence on early Christian doctrine was immense, especially through his emphasis on love and unity within the Christian community. Matthew, a former tax collector, is traditionally credited with writing the Gospel of Matthew. Early church writings suggest that he may have traveled to Ethiopia and other parts of Africa to spread Jesus' teachings. In Ethiopia, he is believed to have faced intense persecution and eventually martyred for his faith. Matthew's transformation from a tax collector, a profession despised by many Jews at the time, to a disciple and evangelist exemplifies the transformative power of Jesus' message. His gospel, with its emphasis on Jesus as the fulfillment of Old Testament prophecies, remains a cornerstone of Christian teaching. Nathanael. Bartholomew, also known as Nathanael, is one of the lesser-known disciples, yet his story carries an air of mystery. Church tradition suggests that he traveled to India, Armenia, and possibly Arabia, spreading the gospel in these distant regions. Some sources claim that he was flayed alive and then beheaded, suffering martyrdom for his faith. The legend of Bartholomew's travels and his ultimate sacrifice are a testament to the dedication of the disciples, showing how they spread Jesus' message far beyond the boundaries of Israel. Thomas, known for his initial doubt about Jesus' resurrection, Thomas ultimately became one of the most adventurous disciples. According to tradition, Thomas traveled eastward, reaching India, where he established a Christian community that still exists today as the Mar Church. Thomas's mission to India represents one of the earliest documented efforts to spread Christianity beyond the Roman Empire, illustrating the global aspirations of early Christian evangelism. His story is celebrated in India, where he is venerated as the patron saint of India's Christians. Thaddeus, Judas, son of James. Thaddeus, sometimes referred to as Jude, is another disciple about whom little is known. Some accounts suggest that he traveled to Persia, modern-day Iran, to preach the gospel, where he faced martyrdom. While details of his life are sparse, he is remembered as a dedicated disciple who contributed to spreading Christianity in the East. Simon the Zealot. Simon the Zealot's title suggests he was once part of the Jewish resistance against Roman rule. After Jesus' departure, Simon reportedly took the gospel to places as far as Egypt and North Africa. He is believed to have faced martyrdom, though accounts differ regarding the specifics. His story exemplifies how diverse backgrounds among the disciples helped shape early Christianity by attracting followers from various walks of life. Matthias was chosen to replace Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus, becoming the 12th apostle. Tradition holds that Matthias preached in regions such as Cappadocia and the Caspian Sea area, ultimately meeting a martyr's death. While his role in the Gospels is minimal, Matthias' dedication to the mission illustrates the continuity of Jesus' message through the early church, even after the original disciples were gone. Judas Iscariot. Judas is infamous for betraying Jesus, leading to his crucifixion. While his story is tragic, it serves as a reminder of the complexities and challenges faced by the early disciples. Judas's actions led to his tragic end, and he is the one disciple who did not continue with the mission. Judas Iscariot. Judas is infamous for betraying Jesus, leading to his crucifixion. While his story is tragic, it serves as a reminder of the complexities and challenges faced by the early disciples. Judas's actions led to his tragic end, and he is the one disciple who did not continue with the mission. One of the most remarkable stories in the New Testament is that of Paul, originally Saul of Tarsus. A devout Pharisee, Saul initially persecuted Christians, but after a transformative encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus, Saul became Paul, a dedicated apostle and one of Christianity's most influential figures. His letters to the early churches, now part of the New Testament, provide theological insights that shape the foundation of Christian doctrine. Paul's teachings on faith, grace, and salvation reached far and wide, establishing a spiritual foundation that continues to inspire Christians today. The lives of Jesus' disciples after his resurrection illustrate both their commitment to their faith and the trials they endured. Each disciple took a different path, yet all contributed to laying the foundation of Christianity. Some were martyred, others traveled vast distances, and a few wrote texts that became sacred to millions. Their legacy is a testament to the power of faith and the transformative effect of Jesus' teachings on his closest followers. These individuals, united in their devotion, helped spread Christianity across the world. If this exploration into the lives of Jesus' disciples after his departure intrigued you, consider exploring the broader story of the early church and the challenges it faced. Each disciple's journey carries lessons about faith, sacrifice, and perseverance. Let us know your thoughts, and check out our other videos for more on the early church's development and the spread of Christianity across different cultures. Your curiosity drives our mission to bring these stories to life.